Hi, welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. If you, like me, have been experiencing a whole lot of change, new work expectations, a change of schedule, having more responsibility for caring for children or our adult relatives, or expected to work online, not sure what tomorrow will bring. Are there going to be some new rules or policies related to self-isolation or quarantine? All of these things create uncertainty and can lead us to feel more stress and have more anxiety. And guess what? That stress and anxiety can impact our sleep. Have you gotten less sleep in the last few weeks than you like to, or has your sleep been of less quality? So today, I'd like to talk about sleep. Really important, because our body needs the repair and regeneration that sleep provides. So if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Now, when we talk sleep, we want to talk about consistency and regularity. And so that's why you often hear the term sleep hygiene, because it means doing something in the same way on a regular basis. So I'd like to talk about 4 tips for optimizing our sleep. I'll talk about what we can do during the daytime, what we can do in the evening, how we can prepare the right environment, and why we need to establish a sleep ritual. So, once again, I want to reinforce it's really important, because all these changes and stuff create stress, which leads to increased cortisol in our bodies, and the cortisol leads to even more stress. Now, I want to reinforce that cortisol is needed, and it's not all bad, but we don't need the high chronic levels of cortisol that we will have when we experience sleep deficit. So let's start with the day. When we get up in the morning, we should start preparing for our next night's good sleep. What can we do? First, we can get up and go to bed each day at the same time, because consistency and regularity are key to good sleep. Secondly, engage in some form of exercise and movement. And you know what? The earlier in the day, the better. Why? Because a study at Appalachian State University showed that morning exercisers as compared to afternoon and evening exercisers slept better, slept longer, and actually had more of a decrease in blood pressure. So they were better all around. So let's say you don't have time. You just don't have time. I don't have time sometimes to exercise in the morning. Guess what? The good news is 5 minutes. 5 minutes counts. So turn on something you love and dance, 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 and sing for 5 minutes like your life depends on it. And it does, because we need this health and well-being that sleep provides. Thirdly, in the daytime, we can prepare for our next night's good night's sleep by limiting our naps. Sometimes we sleep in the daytime because we're exhausted because we didn't sleep so well at night. But you remember the term power nap? Limit those naps to 10 to 20 minutes. It's really important. And then we will be sleepier at night and not have disrupted our circadian rhythms and sleep even better. So prepare for sleep during the day. Now let's move on to preparing for sleep during the evening. What can we do? Well, let's avoid eating more than 2 or 3 hours before we go to sleep. Because once we eat, the body has to concentrate its efforts on digesting that food. And so now the brain and the body thinks it's time for the body to be active, instead of putting its efforts behind helping us to get a good night's sleep. Also, alcohol. Sometimes we will drink a glass of wine at dinner, and that's wonderful. At the same time, we want to limit the amount of alcohol, because though we may feel groggy from alcohol initially, alcohol is actually a stimulant and it will wake us up later on during the night. Oh, one of the biggies in our world is we have to limit our time on our devices, the TV, the computer, the phone. Now, there was a study at Harvard University that shows how much the blue light that those devices emit affects our melatonin release from our brain. So the blue light, it's almost like daylight. And so instead of our body, our brain thinking it's time for us to go to sleep, it thinks, get up, it's time. And our melatonin is suppressed. And the study showed that for every hour we're on our devices at night, our melatonin is suppressed by 30 minutes. So though we may fall asleep because we're exhausted, we don't get the restful and effective sleep we need because we don't have the melatonin to facilitate it. So we might want to consider giving ourselves a screen curfew. Other thing we can do is use apps to block blue light. Flux is great for computers. Twilight is good, the studies show, for Androids, and Night Shift is best for Apple phones. Or how about social engagement? Why not write a letter? Why can't we write a letter at night or spend time with friends or family that live with us? So that's preparing for sleep in the evening. Now we want to create the right environment. And guess what? The body likes to be cooler when it's asleep. So research shows that a room temperature of 62 to 68 degrees is best if we want optimal sleep. So if you love a blanket like me, you can cool the room down and still pile on the blankets. And guess what? I was thinking I might even sleep better because I would be thinking about the money I'm saving by not using as much energy during the night. Keep it dark in the room. If you live in the city like me, you might have trouble with city lights. So we might want to invest in light blocking curtains. Also, the alarm clock can be a problem. Have you ever been looking at the alarm clock all night to see if you're really asleep? Well, remember, a lot of times they have blue light, and so the blue light is keeping your brain awake. So we would really want to turn the alarm clock light away from ourselves. Cornell University did a study, and they showed how important darkness is. They put a light behind people's knees, and this little light still kept the brain awake. So darkness is really important. And really, remember, we want to use the bedroom for the two S's, sleep and sex. Sex promotes sleep, and good sleep promotes sex. So fourthly, establish a ritual, a sleep ritual, like special pajamas, a certain bedtime, the same bedtime. You remember when you were small, you, like me, might have been told to go to bed at the same time every day. Or someone read to us or we read to them. Or we were told to go into our rooms and just be quiet. So it works for children. It's really good for adults also. So take a bath or use things that quiet the brain. There are apps that do it, such as Calm. Calm has bedtime stories. It also has music. It also has music that sounds like nature. There's another app called Headspace. People often use it for meditation, but it has some of those same components that the app called Calm has and can be used for promoting sleep. Or just buy a CD that plays nature sounds or music that you enjoy or emits white noise. That works for some people. And the music, I remember when I was in my 30s and I was active, opening up a healthcare center, and I didn't get good sleep. And a friend of mine told me, try music. And I thought, that'll never work. Well, I never let my brain get quiet enough to even try it. But I got the flu. And I thought, well, while I'm home and I can't go anywhere, let me try this. And I learned that music did work for me to calm the brain at night. And then I moved into books on tape and have used them for the last 20 years. Or read, not electronically, but read something on paper. Or write something. We can write something that we're grateful for, or some good things that happened to us that day. Or maybe the type of person that you want to plan, so you can write down the things that you're going to do the next day. So let's say you do all those things. You prepare during the day, prepare in the evening, create the right environment, establish a sleep ritual, and you go to sleep. But after a couple hours, you wake up. So we have to look at some other things. Maybe you have a very active brain and you need to keep a tablet next to your bed to write those things down that you think of so they're not in your brain. Maybe look at alcohol intake. Maybe it's acting as a stimulant in the middle of the night. Also remember those devices. Melatonin production suppresses blue light. So once again, let's remember, we're going to prepare for sleep during the day with exercise, going out outside and getting sunlight to boost our circadian rhythms, preparing the evening by eating a little earlier, shutting down things at a certain time, spending some quiet time with ourselves or others. We want to create the right environment, cool and dark, and engage in a sleep ritual. I hope you find that these tips help you. And thanks for spending this time with me today. See you next week.